Calling case number 2305-860401. People of the state of Michigan versus Michael Watkins. Defendant is charged in count 1, assault with intent to do rape bodily harm, less than murder or by strangulation. Count 2, domestic violence.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Shelley Drain for the people, P number 60249.
Your Honor, may it please this honorable court, Larry Polk on behalf of Mr. Watkins, who is present by way of Zoom. Mr. Watkins, would you state your name for the record, please?
I'm not sure that Mr. Watkins is in here. We've had a lot of problems this morning with Polk.
Oh, okay. I know he told me that he was on Zoom. So, Judge, I will ask the court to allow me to waive his presence and set this matter for a preliminary exam.
For the waive the defendant's presence, continue to plead not guilty and set this matter for preliminary examination. How is October 6th at 9:15?
You said the 5th?
6th, October 6th.
I'm going to be out of town that day, Judge.
October 4th?
Judge, you're going the wrong way. Okay, what time? What time on the 4th?
What time is good for you? I'll try to get you close to it.
Looks like 11 o'clock would be good.
11 o'clock, I can do 11:15. No, I can do 10:45.
That's fine. I'll make it work.
All right, 10:45 on October 4th. Why don't we continue?
10:45. All right, thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay, are we ready on? Moten, Lonnie Moten?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, yeah.
Calling case number 2305-879101. People of the state of Michigan versus Lonnie Moten. Defendant is charged in counts 1 and 2. Stolen property, receiving and concealing motor vehicle. Defendant has a habitual offender second offense notice.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Alexander Kruger on behalf of the people, P86282.
Good morning, Your Honor. Neighborhood Defender Service by Summer Expression number 85828. Appearing on behalf of Lonnie Moten, who's present today. Mr. Moten, please state your name correct.
Lonnie Moten. Mr. Moten, what's that ugly stain on your shirt? All right, there's the date, time set for preliminary examination. Are we ready to proceed?
The people are, Your Honor.
How many witnesses will be?
2, I believe.
Call your witness.
Yes.
Please do. You got to see.
Your Honor, at this time, the people call Sergeant James Thompson.
Sir, please give your name and spelling to the court reporter. Please raise your right hand. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God. Thank you, sir. Please have a seat and witness spot next to me. You may begin when you're ready.
Good morning. Could you please restate your name for the record?
My name is James Thompson.
And are you currently employed, and if so, in what capacity?
I am a sergeant with the City of Westland Police Department.
And how long have you been employed as a sergeant?
I've been with the Westland Police Department for approximately 10 years. Prior to that, I was with the Detroit Police Department for about 6 years.
And were you employed in this capacity on August 3rd, 2023?
Yes, I was.
Did you in fact work on that date?
Yes, I do. Yes, I was.
Were you by yourself or with any partners?
I had several partners working with me that day. I work in a unit, the Special Investigations Unit.
And Did your duties as a police sergeant take you to an area at or near 20218 Monte Vista Street?
Yes,
Is that in the city of Detroit, county of Wayne?
yes.
And what brought you to that area on that date?
We had a vehicle that had been stolen in our city, and the owner of the vehicle had a GPS on the vehicle and was tracking it, and it was pinging at that address.
And did you make that address?
Yes,
Did you meet with anybody when you made that address?
I did. I met with the owner of the vehicle that was stolen out of our city.
And who was the owner of that vehicle?
I believe her name was Shanice Jackson.
And could you describe the vehicle?
It was a white Jeep Cherokee.
And did the owner give anybody permission to take or possess your vehicle on that date?
No,
And what happens when you met with the owner at this location?
I met with her. She advised me that sometime overnight her vehicle had been stolen.
Objection, rescind.
And Your Honor,
Go ahead.
I would argue this would come under Rule of Evidence 1101B8, that at the preliminary exam, hearsay can be used for ownership authority to use.
I'll take it for that. So, thanks.
And did the owner of the vehicle give anyone permission to take or possess your vehicle on that date?
No, sir.
And so, to get back to what happens when you met with the witness at that location, or the victim at that location?
I learned that there was a GPS that was on the vehicle, and she pushed a button on an app on her phone, which made the alarm go off on the vehicle and the horn sound off from the backyard of the address on Monte Vista.
And could you hear that alarm from where you were?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And upon hearing the alarm in the backyard of that location, what did you do?
My partners and I secured the location, the perimeter of the location, relayed the information to Sergeant Brassfield, who was at the police station. Sergeant Brassfield then drafted a search warrant for the location.
And did you obtain a search warrant for that location?
Yes,
Did you execute the search warrant for that
Yes.
location? Was that on the same dates?
yes.
And how long after you had heard the alarm in the backyard was this search warrant executed?
I would say within 2 hours.
And what happens upon executing the search warrants?
The vehicle that our victim had reported stolen was recovered from the backyard of the location, as well as a second Jeep Cherokee that was reported stolen out of the city of Southfield.
And for that second vehicle, how did you determine that it was stolen?
Conducted a check of the VIN and lane.
And did the name results come back stolen?
Yes, sir.
And based on discovering both the victim's vehicle and another vehicle in that backyard, what did you do?
Spoke with the residents of the location to ascertain how those vehicles came into the backyard of the location.
And did you receive any information upon which you conducted further investigation?
Yes, I received a phone number.
And did you conduct any investigation of that phone number?
Yes,
And how did you investigate this phone number?
I ran it through the police database, which came back with the phone number being registered to Lonnie Moten.
And based on obtaining this name, did you conduct any further investigation?
Yes, I did. I was able to conduct a lane check of Lonnie Moulton, in which I was able to pull up a recent photograph of him. Just to back up briefly, while at the residence was provided video footage from a surveillance camera in the backyard location, which showed a male subject bringing the vehicles to the location.
And was this individual wearing anything in the video?
Yes, he was wearing black face mask. I believe it was all dark clothing and had gloves on.
Did the face mask cover the entire face?
It covered from about the nose down, so just the eyes were exposed. But at one point in the video, the subject turns around and faces toward the camera and pulls the mask down.
And you were saying, as part of this further investigation, that you found an image.
Yes, I found a recent image of Lonnie Moulton, which matched the image of the subject that was in the camera, bringing the mask down.
And at any point did you come into contact with the suspects, Lonnie Moulton?
Yes, sir. I submitted a warrant request to the Wayne County Prosecutor's Office, which was authorized. Mr. Moulton was at the time on, I believe it was supervised release to the Federal Department of Corrections. I notified them. He was taken into custody with them and then brought to our custody.
Did you have an opportunity to speak with suspects?
Mayor, if I could just approach
Okay.
on a matter.
Come on. Um, May proceed.
And did you speak with the suspects, Lonnie Moten?
Yes, I did.
Do you recall when you spoke with the,
After he was arrested.
and where did you speak with the?
And one of our detective bureau interview rooms.
And was the suspect given his Miranda warnings?
He was.
And how were those Miranda warnings issued?
I read his Miranda rights from a West End Police Department's advice of rights form to him.
And did the suspect acknowledge those rights?
He did.
Did the suspect waive his rights and agree to speak with you?
Yes, he did.
And before I proceed further, is there anybody present in the courtroom today that you came into contact with on that date?
Yes.
Could you please point out the individual and identify parts of the clothing they are wearing?
He's seated to your left, wearing the Michigan hooded sweatshirt.
Honor, may the record reflect the identification of the defendant?
So noted.
And did the defendant provide any statements to you?
Yes, he did.
And what were those statements?
Based on, before we do that, let's have the board here as parliamentarians.
When you spoke, Sergeant Compton, when you spoke to Mr. Moten, so you said that you advised him of his rights. Did you give him a form to sign?
Yes, ma'am.
And he signed that form,
Yes, he did, ma'am.
and he indicated that he understood what he was signing?
Yes, ma'am.
And you have that form for safeguarding?
I do.
Okay. Did he read the rights out loud, or did he read them himself?
I read them to him.
You read them to him, and he, sometimes on these forms, people initial their names or sign their initials next to each one, or how did that work for your process?
I believe on this form, he just signed down the bottom.
He signed up.
Yes, ma'am.
No further.
Have any objection to?
So I have not been given in discovery, I had no receipt of a signed surrender waiver form. And
People, do you have the form, constitutional rights form?
In the discovery packet that I have, I do not. Would be in this.
Yes, sir.
Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
And Your Honor, I do apologize, I want to imagine, this is actually a discovery that we were provided, I'm not familiar with the bus plans. Waiver of rights form,
Okay.
it's the very last page.
Show it to the defense counsel.
If I can ask a few more questions, Your Honor.
Yes.
What time did you do this statement?
Ma'am, I don't recall off the top of my head. It would be listed on the,
Oh, yes, okay, it says 1523. And how long had Mr. Milton been in custody?
I believe he just, he just come into our custody.
Okay, and how long did he have to wait for the interview to take place?
I believe, it was less than probably 20 minutes before with him coming to our police station.
Okay, and was he offered water or anything?
I don't recall if I offered him water or not.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
In purposes of this hearing, do you have any objections
I would object,
based on what?
based on the discovery issues. I just relooked at the digital discovery that I received. There's an interview with another person, Isaiah Burnley, who lived at the house where the cars were found. And there is no interview that I have been given, with Mr. Moten. And in terms of preparing for preliminary examination, I have not been able to watch that video to see the manner in which it was conducted, to do my due diligence as a lawyer to ensure that that was a voluntary and
You indicate that there were videos of the statement that were reported to the defense counsel?
I am just checking now based on I see that there are interviews, but I'm checking to see if they were all the same. Here's a video labeled Moten interview, was uploaded on the September 8th.
You say uploaded by who?
Uploaded by the policeevidence.com, and the discovery in this case was sent over on the 19th. I'm just trying to upload the video now. Make sure it's there.
I never received it, Your Honor. And I will just leave it at that. I don't, my police report that I received from the people, I see no summary of it.
How did you receive the other discovery and not receive the video that we're talking?
I believe that after speaking to Sergeant Compton, I don't want to put words in his mouth, but sometimes they think they're two separate files. Maybe there was just an administrative error, that some things were uploaded and other things were not.
Police reports that you received the discovery, they make mention of the statement being given by Mr. Moten.
I'm trying to, I have looked it over again. I do not see any statement.
People, are you aware of any
Yes,
reference to a statement?
it should be on the 29th page of the discovery packet that was sent over.
I don't have page 29, Your Honor. I do not have it on here. I will check my digital police report, which I printed out just to make sure with the court. I am still not seeing it, Your Honor.
I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do. I'm going to give you an opportunity to review the discovery that you say you never received. We will call this a held in part and continue this exam. Are you available next week, sir? Yes, sir.
Your Honor, I am going to be out of town for a long and vacation next week. I get back on the 12th.
Perhaps we have to take it up this afternoon.
Your Honor, I have a flight at 4:30 today.
I'm not talking about 4:30.
Mr. Moten has childcare responsibilities as well. Your Honor, I'm quite concerned about missing my flight. I'm an anxious flyer. I was planning on getting to the airport quite early. I have a preliminary examination in front of Judge Jefferson at 11:30. And was hoping to get to the airport shortly after that. I do apologize.
What do you want me to do?
Your Honor, if we could hold it on October 13th, I will be here. Mr. Moten would waive his right to have a preliminary examination in 21 days. I did not anticipate this happening. Mr. Kirk did either. There's no bad faith on his part that I'm alleging. It's just things were not sent that felt sent.
You're coming back on Friday?
I'm coming back on a Wednesday. I can be here at 1. I'm going to Ireland. And so I'll be back on Wednesday at 1 p.m. I can be here on the 12th as well. I just have already had a lot of preliminary exams scheduled, but I can make it work.
Well, it's not outside.
Oh, okay, understood.
Are you available October 13th, sir? That's Friday. We'll hold this matter in part and continue it to October 13th at 10 o'clock.
Thank you.
Get her everything that she needs, Council.
I will, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. You may stay. Thank you.
Break this up on our way through here.
Council.
You have a number for Ms. Barron? You're in the same office with Ms.
Yes.
Barron, aren't you? Do you have a number for her?
I can look for it right now.
Yes, sir, last Tuesday. Morrison custody, yeah, Scott.
I have, experience number.
Okay.
It is 248
Morris Scott.
321 6199.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Send us the board, please.
Ms. Barron, are you ready?
Judge.
Okay, what happened to my prosecutor? Is Ms. Drain here? Do I have a domestic violence prosecutor here?
All right. Outstanding job. What's your name and date of birth, sir?
Anthony Moore, 82891.
What number? That's on pool. That's on pool. Martino pool. Yeah, so in the file, in his little file, it should be. Really? You know, did you look in the defendant's file? Look in the defendant's file. Yeah, because I always put those inside the defendant's file and they probably could take it out. Okay, all right, all right.
Lions look good last night, Judge.
Man, I ain't never seen the Lions defense play like that, play the last two
Yeah,
games.
good defense, except for the third quarter. Other than that,
Yeah.
yeah. They kept
They took
it.
their foot off the gas.
Yeah. I think before the third quarter was over, they had only like 9 yards in the whole quarter.
So the jail has to take the jailers for a visit. And I told them I'd call them when we ready. They have to take it.
Yes, I see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, Mr. Green, we were ready on Hackett, but the jail disappeared on it. Ms. Barron is here.
Just setting a date, I think, right? He's sort of-
Yes.
All right. I
So
think
it's
he
gonna
said that's
call
all.
it back when we're ready. Yeah, so we're ready on Hackett.
Okay.
Hi,
everybody. I'm Rose Chair. Hi, I'm Bill Pruitt. I work with- That's Ms. Jenkins. Housekeeping is on Monday. Are we next?
What's the? Starts. That was Mr. Hicks.
Are we next?
I'm sorry.
Can I get set up here? Are we next on more?
Sure.
Thank you. Tired.
She went for the prosecutor's office.
I'm ready to report.
We are ready on Hackett.
Calling case number 2305-902-901 for the state of Michigan versus Stanley Hagler Jr. Defendant is charged in count 1, weapons firearm possession by felon, count 2, weapons felony firearm, count 3, assault with a dangerous weapon, count 4, weapons felony firearm, count 5, domestic violence. Defendant has a habitual offender in this month.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Shelley Drain for the people, P number 60249.
Good morning, Judge Hannah Barron, 85265, representing Mr. Hagler.
Mr. Hagler, tell us your name for the record.
Stanley Hagler.
All right, Ms. Barron, what's your pleasure?
Judge, I am missing some discovery on this case. I do have redacted police reports. I don't have any digital discovery. I don't have unredacted police reports. I am requesting those unredacted police reports and digital, and we are asking for a preliminary exam date. And I'm in trial on the 5th and the 6th.
Ms. Drain?
Yes, and I will provide all of that for Ms. Sharon.
All right. So November 4th at 11:45.
November 4th or October?
4th at 11:45, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, you said October?
Yes, October 4th at 11:45.
Thank you, Judge. And could I be heard on bond, please?
Okay.
So Judge, Mr. Hagler is on a very low bond. His bond is $5,000 cash with a tether. We are asking for a personal bond. And if Your Honor thinks that a tether is necessary, then that would be fine. But Mr. Hagler cannot afford the $5,000 cash bond. While it is low, it's unaffordable for him. Mr. Hagler does have a place to stay. It would not be with the complaining witness. He has no violent criminal history. He was working when he was arrested. He did lose that work, but he intends to go work again in home improvement should he be released. And Judge, he's not a flight risk. He's not at risk of endangering the community or the complaining witness. So because the only reason Mr. Hagler is currently in custody is because he's indigent, he can't afford that low bond. We're asking for it to be lowered.
People?
Your Honor, just a moment. I just want- Your Honor, I'm going to object to the motion requested for the reason that the allegation involves an entire possession of a weapon. In addition to that, the prior felony conviction that he has is attempt to carry the same weapon. So this is now one conviction and now another allegation of a weapon when he was supposed to be possession. So for that reason, I object.
So he has a prior weapons charge, but understanding that the purpose of bond is not for punishment, does he pose a flight risk? It doesn't sound like he poses a flight risk. He's showing Cape's history.
No objection.
Or that he poses a danger to the community or to the complainant. Has there been any contact with you?
No objection.
And if, quite frankly, the defendant had $5,000, we wouldn't be having this discussion.
Yes, Judge.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Sir, are you employed?
Not at the moment. I lost my job when I got arrested.
What was your job?
I was doing home improvement. I was doing demos and painting.
For who?
You said for who?
Yes, sir.
North Star Investments.
How long has you worked with them?
I was working with him for about, I say, 8 months now.
Paid under the table?
Yes.
That's not a job.
I would say that. You're right.
So if you get out, how are you gonna take care of yourself?
You said how I'm gonna take care of myself?
Yes, sir.
Want to apply for a different job?
What if you're on house arrest?
If I'm on house arrest, I'll get my paperwork signed so I can be able to leave the house and go to work.
It's that easy, huh? Okay. Who are you gonna be staying with?
Excuse me, I didn't hear you.
Who are you gonna be staying with?
Family friend.
Who?
Family friend.
Who is the family friend, sir?
Robert Goddard.
How do you know you can stay with Mr. Goddard?
I already had contacted him. He told me it was okay.
Okay, I'm gonna reduce his bond to $5,000 personal. I'm gonna put him on a GPS tether, no contact with the complaining witness. You know what I mean by no contact, right, sir?
Yes, sir.
And hear that you so much have even made a phone call or sent a text message. I'm gonna put you in jail until this matter is over. You understand?
Yes, sir.
Okay. 5,000 personal, GPS tether, no contact.
Thank you, Judge. So Judge, that the condition is not house arrest for Mr. Hagler so that he can look for employment?
No, I'm not placing him on house arrest, just to tell you.
Thank you.
I need an order to that effect, Ms. Barron.
Okay, I'll send that to you within an hour. Thank you.
Mr. Hackett, you're all set, sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we need the prosecutor back to start.
I can call.
No, you're all set, sir. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Where did Ms. Dahar go?
Yep.
Ready, Ms. Dahar?
I am, Judge, thank you.
Thank you so much for your patience. What can I do for you?
I just had a question about the Dante Smith file. It's sealed. Means I can't get the ROAs that I need for voucher. Can we unseal that? I don't know why it was sealed to begin with.
I don't know who sealed it.
I assume it was good.
I don't care. I don't have any reason to seal.
What would the process be for me to get it unsealed? Do I have to file a motion or?
I'm not sure how or why it was sealed in the first place. The case is so old now.
Yeah. I don't know why it was sealed to begin with. So
It's on the blank order saying unsealed the case.
there's an unsealed case form or just an order? Oh,
By the county jail, we still have start.
This thing. Is this thing?
Okay. Let's go ahead and do Mr. Hurst's case.
Right around that next year attorney.
Calling case number 2305-770501 for the state of Michigan versus Anthony Moore II. Defendant is charged in count 1, assault with intent to murder, count 2, assault with intent to do grave bodily harm less than murder or by strangulation, count 3, assault with a dangerous weapon, count 4, weapons felony firearm, count 6, weapons felony firearm.
Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I please support Gabrielle Code requesting permission to practice under Court Rule 8.120 under the supervision of KPA Shelley Grant.
Good morning, Your Honor. Did you need?
Commissioner Grant.
Rosemary Dare, Terry on behalf of Anthony Moore II, P number 37888.
What's your name for the record, sir?
Good morning, my name is Anthony Moore.
All right, today's the date, time set for preliminary examination. Are we ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor. People have one witness.
All right.
Judge, at the PCC, I requested digital discovery.
I'm not discussing any discovery issues on the day of the exam. That's where you're going.
Oh, well, I still haven't received it, so,
Why are you just telling me now?
because I've been waiting for it all week and have 17 other cases to deal with this week.
That's not.
No, I don't need it for this exam. I'm not asking to adjourn the exam, but I would just like on the record to be noted that it will be sent to me. It's
Okay.
just of his arrest 15 days after the accident.
All right. People call your witness.
The people called Deontay Sanders.
Was there a sequestration order? Is there anyone else that should be in the courtroom?
I don't see anyone else in the courtroom. Ladies and gentlemen out there in Zoom land, if you are a witness or potential witness, I'm ordering you to log off at this time.
Yeah, it's noted his parents, my client's parents left the courtroom. They are witnesses, alibi witnesses.
They're alibi witnesses? Did
They
they
left the
step out?
courtroom.
Oh, they left. Okay.
I just want to make sure I hadn't turned around and.
Okay. Who's this? Please raise your right hand, sir. You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness box next to me. Maybe give me ready.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good morning. Can you please state your first and last name for the record? Mr. Sanders, do you know Anthony Moore? Oh, sorry. Mr. Sanford, do you know Anthony Moore?
Yes,
How do you know him?
Please keep your voice up and speaking to the microphone, sir.
We're in a relationship.
How long was your relationship with Mr. Moore?
Right, 2.5 years.
Would you recognize him if you see him today?
Into the microphone, please, sir.
I'm sorry, I don't.
Do you see him in the courtroom?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you point to him and tell the court I know clothing he's wearing?
Green and white.
Mr. Sanford, I want to talk to you about the midnight on May 10th going into May 11th of 2022. Do you remember that date?
I do.
Where were you?
I was at birthday party.
I couldn't hear that because
I'm sorry, I was at a birthday party.
Did you leave this birthday party?
I did.
Judge, I would object to these leading questions.
Don't leave. Sustain.
Where did you go after the birthday party?
Again, that's fine.
I was going to my aunt's house with a friend.
You said you were going with a friend. Were you and the friend in the same vehicle?
Yes,
Did you make it?
I did.
What happened when you made it to your aunt's house?
When I made it over there, I was followed. It was another car following me and I got shot.
Okay, I want to go back a little bit. Your aunt's house, can you tell me what street that's located on?
It's on Park Road between like Charmers. I don't know like what's the other street further down, but I know it's like Grasshurst and Charmers.
And is this in the city of Detroit,
Yes, ma'am.
in the county of Wayne?
Yeah,
And you said someone was following you?
yes.
Who was following you?
Anthony Moore.
Okay, so when you get to your aunt's house, you park your car?
Well, yes, I did park my car
And where did you park?
right directly in front of her house.
Did you park on the street?
Yes,
And at some point, do you get out of your car?
I did get out my car.
And when you get out of your car, what happens?
Well, it was my friend was following me, so when I parked my car, he parked his car behind me. I got out the car, I started talking to him, and that's when I noticed the car flying down the street. At first, I thought they was about to hit me, and
You're too close to the microphone.
I'm sorry, I thought they was about to hit me at first, and that's when they just drove past and just start shooting. I heard a voice, and at that point, I realized I was shot.
Who were you talking to before you got shot?
My friend, his name is Eric.
And when you were talking to Mr. Eric, you said you seen a car speeding towards you.
Yes,
Do you remember what that car looked like?
I just know it was like a dark color, like an SUV.
Had you ever seen the vehicle before?
And I feel like recall enough.
So, once you see the vehicle, what do you do?
Well, I was trying to like move back because they was like coming towards me so fast. I thought they was gonna hit me, but once they drove past, at that point it was too late. So I heard the gunshots. I really didn't realize that I was hit at that point, but I just heard the gunshots. And my friend asked me, did I get shot? And I said, yeah, but I didn't know where. And I got in the car and that's when we put off.
Mr. Sanford, did you hear anything else besides the gunshots?
Yeah, I heard a voice.
Was this a familiar voice?
It was.
Where was it familiar from?
It was familiar from the relationship that I was in.
Who was this relationship with?
Anthony Moore.
And how long were you dating Mr. Moore again?
2.5 years.
And during those 2.5 years, how often did you hear his voice?
Almost every day.
And you came to recognize his voice?
Yes.
Would you need to be looking at Mr. Moore to recognize the voice?
I'm sorry, I couldn't understand your question.
Would you need to be looking at Mr. Moore to recognize his voice?
No, ma'am.
So on May 10th, you heard his voice.
Yes, ma'am.
Coming from where?
From the vehicle where the shots was fired.
Did you have an opportunity to see Mr. Moore on that night?
No, I didn't see him that night.
So after you were shot, you said that you got in the car with Mr. Glass?
Yes, ma'am.
Where were you and Mr. Glass headed once you got into the vehicle?
Well, we was going to a hospital, but everything was happening so fast. Like we was just trying to pay attention to what was going on. So, yeah.
Did you and Mr. Glass make it to the hospital?
Well, by the time we got to 6 Mile and Gratiot, when we pulled off from the scene, it was already like a police car that was like following us. They heard the shots. So they thought that it was us shooting, and they think that one of his windows had been shot out. So they immediately they pulled me out the car, and they called the backup and everything else.
Did you eventually make it to the hospital?
I did.
I want to go back, Mr. Sanford. You said that before you got shot, you heard Mr. Moore's voice.
Yes.
Can you tell the court what he said?
I heard there you go right there.
No more questions for this witness, Your Honor.
Cross-examine.
Yes, please, Your Honor. Hi, my name is Rosemary Dare. I'm the attorney for Mr. Moore. How are you today, Mr. Sanford?
How you doing?
Okay, so your aunt's house is on Summer Grove near Chalmers.
Yes.
And do you know where Mr. Moore lived?
I do know where he lived.
I'm sorry?
I said I do. You said do I know where he lived?
Yes. Does he live on Park Grove also?
Yes, ma'am.
And when did you break up?
Probably like 6 months prior to.
Okay, and did you have contact with Mr. Moore during those 6 months on
I did.
Did you know Mr. Moore had a broken leg?
I did.
So you were already at your aunt's at the birthday party, that's what you said, correct?
Right.
So where were you going after the birthday party?
After the birthday party, wait a minute, you just confused me. I was already at the birthday party. I was going to my aunt's house after the birthday party.
Oh, so you were at a birthday party at a different location first?
Correct.
Then at your aunt's. So when you were outside of your aunt's, you were leaving to go somewhere else, to the bar or something?
Correct.
Okay, and did your friend Eric want to go with you to the bar?
Yes.
Okay, and you were in 2 separate cars?
We was.
Okay, so Eric was following you?
Yeah, we was actually going to park one vehicle and get in line, but we didn't get a chance to do that.
Okay. You said they were at your aunt's and you were outside leaving to go to a bar, but then you said that you were driving and somebody was following you.
Well, the whole time that I was at the party, I was being watched. So when I was at my brother's party, the whole time I was being watched. So
Was someone following you? That's the question.
yeah.
So you were driving, you had left your aunt's house? Or left?
I didn't. I got shot as soon as I arrived there. I never got a chance to leave.
Oh, okay. So you were driving to your aunt's house. You were alone in your car?
I was. It was me and my dog.
Your dog? Okay. And then Eric was following you in his car?
Correct.
Okay. So when you testified that another vehicle was following you, how far back was that vehicle? Behind Eric's car?
Well, that vehicle really wasn't in my vision because the only vehicle that I was paying attention to was him because I was trying to make sure that he was behind me because he never been to the location that we was going to.
Got it, so you want to make sure you didn't get lost.
Yeah, so I really wasn't like looking 3 and 4 cars back. I was really just paying attention mainly to his vehicle.
So you didn't really see anyone following?
I mean, I knew I was being followed.
Well, you didn't see anyone following you, correct? Whether you sensed it, you didn't see anyone, correct?
The person who should have been following me, the only person that should have been following me, that was the person that I thought that was following me, but I mean, obviously.
You testified that someone was following behind you, but Eric was behind you and you didn't really see anyone because you just said you didn't pay attention to what was going on 3 and 4 cars back. So you didn't see anyone following you, right?
Well, when I pulled up, so.
No, before you pulled up, while you were driving.
I did see him following me. I did see Eric following me.
You saw Eric, but you didn't see anyone else that you knew of. You said you didn't look 3 cars back.
No.
So you didn't see Anthony. And you had gotten out of your vehicle
I did.
at the time of this alleged incident. You got out of your vehicle.
I did get out.
And where were you standing?
In like the middle of the street, like right in front of my house.
And that was because you were at the driver's window of Eric's car talking to him.
Correct.
And weren't you gonna leave at that point? Were you guys gonna go somewhere else?
We had just pulled up there. We wasn't even there for 2 minutes.
So the answer is no, you weren't leaving at that moment.
Well, we was leaving. I could have left my aunt's house. I could have left my car there. But whatever our plan was, we never got the chance to even figure it out because as soon as we arrived, that's when the shots went off.
I understand that. But if you told the police that you had been to your aunt's and were already leaving, deciding whether.
I didn't. I wasn't at my aunt's.
I'm sorry. You had been to somewhere and you were deciding to leave to go to a bar, wouldn't that be true?
Okay, so I was at a birthday party. It was at a whole nother
When you
location.
told the police, this is just answer this question, that you were leaving the location you were at, not that you just pulled up, because you and Eric were trying to decide whether you wanted to go to a bar.
Right.
Okay, so you weren't going into the house then. Where were you shot?
You said where?
Where?
Once in the arm. Yeah, once in the arm. Once in the side and in the leg.
How many shots hit you? Or how many areas? Those 3 areas, your arm, your thigh, and leg?
Correct.
That's what your hospital records will show. So you get that. Okay. So when this car drove by, it was not any car that you identified as Mr. Moore's from when you were dating him, correct?
No, he didn't have a car at the time.
Okay, so you didn't recognize that car. And what kind of car was it? You even get a chance to look at it?
I just must have done that's like it was an SUV.
Okay, so you didn't know him to have an SUV while you were dating, correct?
Say it again.
You didn't know Mr. Moore to have an SUV car while you were dating, correct?
He did.
Oh, you just said he didn't have a car?
He did, but it was way prior to this incident.
Okay, his car in fact was an impound, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And you didn't see Mr. Moore in that vehicle, correct?
And what vehicle?
The vehicle from which the shots were fired.
Me hearing his voice was enough.
My question is, did you see him in the vehicle?
I never looked. I didn't know.
Did you see him in the vehicle, yes or no?
No, I didn't.
Okay. But you saw other people in the vehicle, correct?
I never looked. Like the vehicle went by so fast. So once the shots went off, I heard what I heard. I heard a voice, and then, like I said, I realized I was trying to, I was in shock at that point. So
you never really looked at the vehicle.
It was secure.
Yeah, she said she's a side.
Okay, and whether or not you may or may not, or think that you heard Anthony's voice, You're not positive though, correct?
Say it again.
Whether or not you think or you may or may not have heard Anthony's voice, you're not positive that you heard his voice, correct?
I'm positive.
Oh, why didn't you tell that to the police on May 11th when you gave them the statement?
I don't even remember, like, I was under medication, I was in a lot of pain, so, I mean,
Well, they asked you directly if you knew of anyone who would have caused, this incident to occur. And you said, I don't know, maybe my ex-boyfriend, but you never said you heard his voice.
well, I don't have,
You never said you heard his voice, right?
I don't have any enemies.
Right?
Once again, I don't have any enemies.
Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but you never told the police you heard his voice.
I had to tell the police that, because there's only one person that will want to shoot me.
That's what you think.
That's what I know, that's the voice that I heard.
You've had a lot of incidences with Mr. Moore and his relatives, correct? There have been a lot of police reports filed against you, correct?
On both ends. The
On
same,
both of you.
on my side too.
And not just Mr. Moore, but you've had incidents with neighbors and other people, so you do have other enemies,
Object to Your
right?
Honor, relevant.
All right, I'll withdraw the question. Excuse me for 1 second. Sorry, my client has now an ability to write in a stroke, so I just want to make sure he has no any questions. Okay. Oh, yes. And just one more question, were you dating Eric when you dated Deontay?
Object to Your Honor, relevant.
Well, the relationship is relevant to the case.
That's not relevant. That's not relevant. What do you say?
I just want to know for background information as to why he's pointing a finger at one person and
It's
not
not
another.
relevant. It's the same.
Okay. Let me ask this question. Did you have any other boyfriends that you may have had, excuse me, not ask them with the question, that you may have had, hostilities with during that time period?
I was dating other people, but I didn't have no other issues with nobody else.
I didn't hear the first part of your.
I said I didn't have no issues. I didn't have no issues like that with nobody else.
What was the first part of your?
Yes, I was dating other people. But once again, I didn't have no issues like that, so.
No police reports?
No, not at all.
I have nothing further.
You can redirect?
Yes, please, Your Honor. Mr. Sanford, you just testified that Mr. Moore lives on Park Road.
No, I didn't. You don't stay over there, mine, stay over there
Okay. How long has your Honor stayed on Park Road?
for years.
And through the course of you and Mr. Moore's relationship, had he been to that address?
His first time coming to that address was a week, probably like a few days before I got shot.
Okay. You said, you just testified that you and Mr. Moore broke up 6 months before the incident.
Correct.
And you also testified that you two maintained a relationship after that breakup?
Yeah, we were still friends.
Did there come a point when you wanted to end that friendship?
It did.
And when was that?
Probably like late April, early May.
So would you agree within 2 to 3 weeks before this incident happened?
Say that again.
Would you agree that you ended your friendship with Mr. Moore within 2 to 3 weeks of when you were shot?
Correct.
Okay, I wanna go back to when you were shot. You said that vehicle was coming at you really fast. Approximately how close did that vehicle get to you?
Maybe just like a couple of inches away.
And where was the vehicle when the shots were actually fired?
Like right on the side of me.
So would you say when the shots were fired, that's the closest the vehicle got to you?
Correct.
No more questions.
So
Based on her questions.
that's what we're trying to do. So why
Why
were
did you hear
you,
what you said?
that isn't, I'm on redirect, right? So I have a few questions based on
I'm
that.
not on redirect, this would be recross.
Recross. A long week, sorry about that. So you stated that, Mr. Moore had been at your aunt's a few days before you got shot.
Correct.
Did you invite him there?
I did.
Was there some other sort of party going on?
No, it was not party, it was just in the neighborhood. I just stopped by to see my auntie, so I happened to be with me.
Okay, so that was a few days before you were shot.
Exactly.
Okay. So you were still friends then in May?
We were.
Okay. So you didn't decide not to be friends in late April or early May?
No, I said that it was going to that, but I was still trying to work it out.
Okay, and but you were friendly enough so he would go with you to relatives on a non-occasion, like just visiting, right?
Not all relatives, but some.
Well, that relative,
Yeah, yeah.
was your aunt?
Yeah.
What's her first name, Aunt
Her name, not Julia.
Don
Don Julia.
Interesting. And did Anthony visit you at the hospital after you were shot? You know?
No.
He could have, but you don't know, correct?
How is that relevant?
Okay, I'll withdraw the question. Nothing further now.
Sir. You indicated that you thought you were being watched at the party.
Yes.
Why did you think you were being watched at the party?
I don't know, it was just like a weird, it was just a funny feeling.
Did you see anybody watching?
I never said I saw nobody, but I was like receiving all type of threats and text messages and stuff while I was at the party.
How were you receiving threats?
You
said text messages?
Yeah.
On your cell phone?
Yes, sir.
From who?
Anthony Moore.
Who?
Anthony Moore.
The defendant?
Yeah.
He sent you a threatening text message?
Correct.
What did you do, if anything, with those text messages?
Well, it's like one of my phones, I got like 3 phones and things, but I'm sure.
You still have those text messages?
Yeah.
You never turned them over to the police?
I think, yeah, I definitely, told him about something like that.
You still have them?
Yes, sir.
All right. You want to give them to the prosecution?
Okay.
So, and you say you received them from Anthony Moore, you received them from his cell phone number?
Correct.
Or a number associated with him?
Correct.
How many did you receive?
Number, like throughout that whole day, pretty much.
So then you decided to leave the party with another person. Who was this other person again?
His name is Eric, that's the guy I was dating.
Eric?
Yes.
All right. Is Eric someone you was dating as well?
Who was dating?
Is Eric someone you were dating?
Oh, yeah, well, at the time, I was just trying something different.
All right, so you were involved with Eric as well, is that right? Now tell me why you and the defendant broke up.
Because it was just too many issues. Him and my family didn't get along. It was too many threats. Every time he got.
When you say threats by who? To?
Threats from Anthony Moore to my family or about my family.
What did he say?
Well, he would ride past my mom's blocks. He was standing outside, and he would, say, text me stuff, tell me what we should do to my mom and stuff like that.
So you say the defendant did not have a car at at this point in time, right?
Yes, sir.
Have you ever seen him with the gun before?
Yes,
What kind of gun was it?
like a 9mm Glock,
I'm sorry?
like a 9mm Glock. I don't know the difference, but
Okay. Now, this car that you heard or you saw, that you said the car was speeding towards you,
yes, sir.
did you get a good look at the car?
I didn't like not like a good look, but I know it was a SUV and I know it was dark colored.
A dark colored SUV?
Yeah,
Okay. You say you heard the defendant's voice say, "There you go," right there,
yeah,
and then you heard shots.
correct,
You were shot?
correct.
How many times were you shot?
4,
Where were you shot at?
my leg and my thigh and my arm.
You went to the hospital?
Correct.
How long were you in the hospital?
For a few days.
A few days?
Yeah.
Do you know what was done to you at the hospital?
CAT scans, X-rays. I think I got surgery, like a little small minor surgery, but I was so out of it. I was like they gave me like fentanyl and all type of like stuff, so I really can't recall. But I know as soon as I got there, got my clothes off.
So, did you end the relationship with the defendant?
Yeah.
Was he upset with the ending of the relationship?
Yes.
You said that you said the defendant, you think the defendant wanted to shoot you. Why did you think that?
Because of like the stuff that he said, the threats that was made.
What
And
threat did he make?
well, he said he would kill me.
When did he say that?
Like, he said it all the time. Every time he got mad, he said it. So that was like, that was like,
When was the last time before the shooting that he said he was gonna kill you?
probably like 15 minutes before.
15 minutes before?
Yeah,
Is that one of the text messages you received?
so many of them.
Any question based on my question?
I do.
Okay.
Okay, so when I asked you before how many times you were shot, you said 3 times, but it's 4 times?
I did get shot 4 times. One of the bullets, it like came in and it went out.
Where was that? What part of your body?
My upper thigh, I got shot twice in my thigh. I got shot once in my leg and once in my arm.
So there were 3 injuries and 4 shots, or there were 4 injuries?
It was 4 of them, and the doctor records will show you that.
Not 3. 2 in your thigh.
One in my leg and one in my arm.
And where did you see Mr. Moore with a gun?
On Instagram.
But never in person? Right?
I mean, I really.
Right, never in person, right?
Yeah, just on social media.
Mr. Moore isn't known to use guns, is he?
No.
Mr. Moore isn't known to use guns, is he? In the 2.5 years you dated him, did you ever see him use a gun?
I mean, like.
Yes or no?
Yes,
Excuse me?
yes.
Oh, you saw him use a gun in the 2.5 years you dated him?
I mean, I'm just gonna tell you, like. what-
Yes or no? Did you see him with a gun?
The answer, yes.
Okay, but he's going into a different spiral, so I just didn't know what he was saying. So. You said that you broke up with Anthony?
Yes.
Why would your friend Eric tell the police that it was mutual?
Oh, no, that's not,
Well,
that's not an evidence, right?
Okay, wasn't it mutual breakup?
No, it's not.
In fact, you weren't really broke up because you were with him a couple of days before the shooting, right?
Well, yeah, I told you that I was trying to like break away from that. That was the whole reason why I started dating somebody else.
And did you break out his, okay, so. So you said that he made threats on your cell phone?
Yes.
And that was over the course of the relationship or at the end of the relationship or both?
I just over the course of the relationship, every time we got married, that's what we did.
Did you make any police reports about those threats to kill you?
Yeah,
So you do have police reports?
I had several police reports over the years.
And was anything done about them?
No,
Okay. Ever talk to the prosecutor about them? Besides your mother who worked for the prosecutor's office, did you ever speak to a prosecutor about these threats?
I have, because I had another different before.
Okay. And was that fight after you broke out his windows and his neighbor's windows?
Objection, Your Honor, relevant.
I'm just trying to get a timeline.
What's what fight?
The fight that you said that you had.
Doesn't sound terribly relevant to me, Council.
Do you know if Anthony ever filed police reports against you?
Objection, Your Honor, as to enter, this came out on the last report.
No, it didn't. I didn't get it.
That there were multiple police reports from him and his family against the complaining witness, yes, it did.
Sure.
Okay. And that's what you heard him say, there you go, right there?
Excuse me?
That's what you heard the person who shot you say, there you go, right there?
Correct.
Okay, so if you told the police something different in your statement, you're forgetting what you said?
I mean, they gave me a statement that day, but I told you that I just told those underlying medication and stuff, so.
But you made a second statement on May 25th when you weren't under medication or in the hospital, correct?
Well, I'm just telling you that I know who shot me, I don't have no enemies, and I'm just telling you what it is.
But for 14 days, you never told or called the police and told them that, they had to contact you.
No, he didn't, the night when I got shot, when I was in the ambulance, I told him who shot me.
But they didn't write that in your statement.
When the police.
Objection, Your Honor, that's not even a question.
Yeah, it is.
No, that was more like a statement.
Did they write that in your statement, that you told them in the ambulance?
How would he know?
I'm not sure, I don't know.
It's just not.
No. You wrote it. Oh, he didn't write a statement that he signed? Did the police write the statement out for you, or did you write the second statement? And you're,
I'm not sure.
you don't recall?
I don't recall that.
Okay, fair enough. So you testified a few minutes ago that you only saw Mr. Moore on Instagram when we forgot, right?
Yeah.
So you never saw him in person when we forgot, right?
Objection, Your Honor, ask the answer with one of the.
No. He
I
just
heard that.
contradicted himself.
He said he saw him on Instagram, done. He hadn't seen him in person, he testified just now to that, and he testified beforehand to that.
I asked him if he saw him in person and he said yes,
You asked me,
on this recross.
he did ask if he seen him with the gun.
And I
He said yes.
On Instagram, though, right?
Yes.
Okay, nothing further.
Thank you, sir, you missed that. Any other witnesses for the people?
No, Your Honor.
Witnesses for the defendant?
No, Your Honor.
The people move to find over as charged and reserving the argument.
Counsel?
I think there's a lot of problems with the credibility of this witness. He made contradictory statements throughout his testimony about where he was going. First, he said he was going to the location on Park Road and hadn't been inside yet. Then he said he'd already been there and they were leaving, he and Eric were leaving to go to the bar. He had an ample opportunity because he answered a number of questions that the police asked him, and also signed a statement on May 11th to indicate that he heard Mr. Moore's voice or knew it was Mr. Moore. He never did that. And
I'm sorry, what was that?
he had ample opportunity to let the police know on May 11th because he signed a statement and was questioned and answered all those questions in pretty great detail. And he specifically said twice, when he was questioned again, I didn't say that I saw him or that was him. I just said that you asked me if I knew anyone who might want to do this, and I said that I knew someone, it was Anthony Moore. So he gave a detailed answer. For him to say now, well, I don't remember, I was, I understand he was probably questioned at the hospital. But he did give a very detailed statement twice. And I guess he indicated he was shot in the arm, thigh, and leg, but not twice in the thigh. That's fine, I understand that. And he said it could have been anyone's voice. He also said that Mr. Moore was following him.
That's not what he said at all.
When I
said it
asked,
could have been anyone's voice, he said it was the defendant's voice.
well, he
He
said
said he was sure of it.
okay, he said that prior. He said that Mr. Moore was following him. And then he said, well, I don't know who's following me from 3 or 4 cars back, but Eric was following his current boyfriend. That thereby contradicting what he's saying. I just think that this is a story. I think there's been a lot of back and forth. Perhaps it's a question of fact, but I don't think his identification was reliable in any regard of this client. I think this has more to do with the police reports he said that were filed against him by my client and his family, and that's retaliatory. So I would ask the court not to find over these charges.
Mr. Honor, I believe that the defense counsel is misrepresenting the evidence. The May 11th statement from the defendant was unsigned. Police wrote that he was unable to sign that statement. And the May 11th police report from the police says that the suspect is believed to be the defendant and more. Furthermore, on May 25th, when the victim made this.
So none of this came out during the exam, so why are we talking about that?
I'm just responding to defense counsel's
No, but I
argument.
would like for you to find your responses to information that I received in this case, not information that you know.
Okay, Your Honor. As to the argument that the complaining witness made contradictory statements, I would disagree that any contradictory statements were made on the stand except for about the gun. Otherwise, I believe that the questions were confusing. The victim was very clear that he was shot, that the reason why he knows he was shot by Mr. Moore is because he recognized Mr. Moore's voice. He testified in length as to how he knows Mr. Moore's voice and why he believes Mr. Moore is the one who assaulted him. Based off that, I believe that the people have met their burden of probable cause to bind over on GPAs, on the assault with intent to murder, and on the assault with dangerous.
So, Mr. Graham, I'm glad that you agree that this is a question of fact to be determined by a trial. I didn't find anything inherently incredible about the witness's testimony. The witness was involved in a relationship with the defendant. He says that he broke off the relationship. He also says that throughout that particular day that he was shot, that he had received numerous messages from the defendant threatening him, saying that he was going to kill him. And then as he goes to his aunt's house, he gets out the car comes roaring down the street, and he hears, lo and behold, the defendant's voice say, "There he goes," and then shots are fired. He said that he was shot 3 or 4 times, I'm not exactly sure. But one of those shots was a gunshot wound, so he has 4 wounds and there was 3 shots. In any event, when you aim a loaded weapon, fire that weapon, it hits your target. I think it's at least a very minimum if there was intent to murder or intent to do great bodily harm, less than murder, or assault with a dangerous weapon. The court finding those charges were committed in the city of Detroit. The court finding probable cause to be listed committed will bind them over to Wayne County Third Circuit Court, Criminal Division for proceedings. It's a random on the information date and time will be October 6, 2023 at 9 o'clock a.m.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Wayne County Jail, what's your name, sir? You have to tell them to unmute you. You have to tell them to unmute you, sir.
Good. Is Raphael Starks?
Okay, here, Mr. Starks.
Sir.
All right, give me 1 second. Mr. Hicks, is that you?
It is, Judge.
Okay, great. Ms. Barron, is that you?
Yes, Judge.
Fantastic. Give me 1 second. All right. Filing case 2358934, people of state of Michigan versus defendant number 1, Raphael Dominique Starks. Defendant is charged in count 1, homicide, murder, first degree premeditated. Count 2, weapons, firearms, possession by felon. Count 3, felony firearms, second offense notice. Defendant has a habitual offender, third offense notice. Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, and may it please this honorable court, APA Jonathan Hitz, appearing on behalf of the people, P85288.
Good morning, Judge. Barron from the Neighborhood Defender Service, 85255.
Let's get your P number again, Ms. Barron.
85265.
All right. And tell me your name for the record, sir.
Raphael Starks.
What's your pleasure, Ms. Barron?
I do not have discovery on this case. I investigator report, it is redacted. Your Honor signed orders for discovery in this case, but that's all that I have so far. We would have a preliminary information. I'm assuming that I have voluminous discovery forthcoming.
Yes, Judge. I'm still waiting on a pretty key piece of digital evidence that I don't have yet. It's the video from the theater where this incident took place. Given that the investigator's report references several hours of video, I expect it to be a challenge to get that. But DPD is supposed to be sending me a link today. I'll attempt to download it and get it to Ms. Barron as quickly as possible. I am going to be requesting a protective order for any personally identifiable information. I did send one to Ms. Barron earlier today once I realized that she was going to be the attorney representing Mr. Starks. I'm not sure if she's amenable to such an order, but if she's not, I would request the court enter one. and I can make a record as to why I believe it's necessary here.
Ms. Barron?
Judge, we are opposing the protective order. The protective order contemplates that I can't share names of witnesses with my client. I think that significantly interferes with his right to be involved in his defense. But Judge, of course, it is the prosecutor's burden to prove that there's any good cause for a protective order.
Judge, I don't believe that order prevents him from recording the names of witnesses. I care about personally identifiable information, and I think the definition for PII is limited in that order. But if Ms. Barron has specific changes that she's proposing, I'd be happy to look at those. In terms of why I believe protective order is necessary here to prevent the disclosure of personally identifiable information, this is a killing that the people allege was planned out. Mr. Starks lied in wait for over an hour while the victim was at the Garden Theater on Woodward Street here in Detroit. He waited for the victim to leave the theater after casing the joint previously, and then ultimately shot the victim several times. As the court noted, there's a co-defendant who's currently a fugitive from justice. There is another party that's suspected to be involved that is not currently charged with a crime. And I have serious concern for the safety of witnesses, the planned nature of this offense, and the serious nature of this offense. And I think that should block the defendant from having personally identifiable information of potential witnesses that could wind up being targets here.
So when we're talking about personal identifying information, you mean things like addresses?
Addresses, phone numbers, yes. Birth dates.
Okay, but in the same vein, we want Ms. Barron and her investigators to be able to effectively prepare for this defendant's defense. So Ms. Barron, if you need to contact a witness to interview them and the like, then I'm going to leave that to you to get in contact with the prosecuting attorney to arrange that. Because I'm not going to, given the circumstances, I'm not going to have the prosecutor divulge that personal identifying information. That doesn't mean not their names, but in terms of their contact information and so forth. Again, if you need to contact those witnesses, then I'll leave it up to you and Mr. Hitz to arrange that.
And so, Judge, does that, so I just want to fully understand Your Honor's order. So the prosecution can redact that identifying information from the reports, but must make the witnesses available?
Yes.
And well, I would specifically request, Judge, that dates of birth, and of course, we've already discussed names, dates of birth, that not be considered personal identifying information for what we're discussing. I think that we have the right to know the identity, the full identity, including their dates of birth, without
Who's the date of birth for?
To investigate them and know their identity.
Investigate. But what can you use their date of birth for, though? That's what I'm asking. What is that for?
To investigate them, Judge, to look into their criminal records and anything else about them. People share names, and a date of birth is another way to identify a person.
You typically ask for that kind of stuff in your discovery request?
Judge,
if they have, you ask for copies of their criminal history?
Yes, and we generally don't get that until later on. It's generally something we end up having to fight for throughout litigation.
Okay, so I'm not going to, I don't think the date of birth is pertinent either. Names, most certainly, not date of birth, not phone numbers, not addresses. If you need to contact these people, then you can do so through the prosecuting attorney. Mr. Hitz, you got to make those witnesses available if they need to talk to you, okay?
Yes, Judge.
Okay. So now I guess we need an exam date. Mr. Hitz, I need you to get the discovery to Ms. Barron as soon as possible.
I will. I've been working on that. I am concerned that this is going to be one of those cases where there's problems getting it, but if I have to go over to DPD's headquarters and download it myself, that's what I'll do. I'll make sure that she gets it as quickly as I can.
All right. How about October 10th at 10 o'clock, please?
I'm not really available in the morning. Would the afternoon be possible?
No.
I'd be available at 11 or anytime after 11.
I have an 11:30 and 1:30 schedule already.
Okay, I have a couple of exams already scheduled for 9:30 and 10:30, and I assume that this one's gonna take a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a safe assumption. I expect 2 to 3 witnesses as of right now.
About October 5th at 11:30.
I'm in trial on the 5th and the 6th, Judge.
October 9th at 1:30.
That is fine for me. I will update the court if I am concerned about getting this discovery, but you know, I guess we'll see what happens, and I'm available on October 9th.
I am as well, Judge. That date works for me.
It's a non-homicide date. We'll make it work. October 9th at 1:30. Final be continued.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're all set, sir. Yes. Karen, you say you will, right?
I'm ready.
All right.
I'll stay here.
Okay. Okay. Calling case 2359031, people of the state of Michigan versus Jasmine Lashia Nicole Bell. Defendant is charged in count 1, criminal sexual conduct, 4th degree, force or coercion. Count 2, criminal sexual conduct, 4th degree, force or coercion. Appearances for the record, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. Shelley Green for the people, P number 60249. Getting it for the attorney of record, assistant prosecuting attorney, Matthew May.
Good morning, Your Honor. David Cripps, P 34972. I likewise am standing in for the attorney of record, Galby Silver.
All right. And what's your pleasure, Mr. Cripps?
Your Honor, in this case, after consultation with the client, Ms. Silver and I are asking for a referral for competency to stand trial.
Okay. All right. The court will refer the defendant for a competency evaluation. We will set a review date for let's do December 5th, 2024. I'm sorry. January 5th, 2024 at 8:30.
Yes, fine for the defense, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Judge. Everybody have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Pruitt, you're gonna have to work on that eye roll, and that's not professional.
I don't mind, I don't know.
All the time. Well,
Thank
me too.
Thank you.
Either way. I don't care. Turn it off.
Okay, we are down to 12:30. Who is this? Who is this? What's Mr. Cooper out there doing?
Yeah, he out there.
Ready, Mr. Cooper?
Yes, Judge, we're ready.
Pronounce your first name. Ms. Scott?
Yeah.
Pronounce your first name.
Jamela.
Jamela. Calling case 2358864, people of the state of Michigan versus Jamela Scott. Defendant is charged for count 1 assault with a dangerous weapon, count 2 domestic violence.
Good morning, Your Honor. May I please this court Gabrielle Pruitt requesting permission of practice under Court Rule 8.120 under the supervision of APH Lawyering.
Permission granted.
Renee Cooper on behalf of Ms. Scott, we're ready to proceed.
Scott, tell us your name for the record.
Jamela Scott.
All right, people ready to proceed as well?
No, Your Honor, the complaining witness in this case is a Mr. Maurice McGuire. He is not present today and people are unable to proceed without his testimony.
Well, we'd ask the matter for this.
So order the court will dismiss this matter without prejudice.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's his child.
Yeah. I'm reserve comment.
I know. But he was like,
Sometimes you just have to realize that when they're in that condition, they're not exactly themselves.
yeah.
You have to exhibit a little bit more patience than usual.
He wasn't having it back then. Of course, begging now, it's like, I can't tell him I can talk to him. So I saw you at 8:30 this morning, sir.
Yes, sir.
Have a good weekend.
I saw more than I wanted to see this morning.
Oh, you had that many?
No, not that many. Regular, ordinary.
Oh, you had a few. And kids, where we live?
Cowards.
Yeah. Well, that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, cowards, yeah, behind the computer.
Come on over here.
Come down here and do that.
You know, I had a client who was in, this was fun. Okay. He would pick up our file. He'd skip by. He would pick up another guy. But it every time. So I'm asking her, like, we were like, we'll come back to the next day. I understand you, so we went back. You know, like that. Back to the old right.
You didn't say anything to, you didn't say anything for me. You didn't say anything for me, you could have got me out. You fucking nigga.
Oh.
Oh, I was like, dude,
How are you supposed to get back to the jail?
they were already standing up.
Oh.
He just let it slip.
Oh.
I mean, I went, and I can't remember that. I told her what, she gave her Brian Brown.
Oh.
So he got a full dreadlocks and everything. Let's see how you feel I have front. How is it? Well, he trying to do with this dress.
Well, you need for you.
Yeah. And this is where we live. Have a good weekend.
All right, you too. Thank you, you too. Mr. Swab, you ready?
I could use a few minutes just to get myself organized. So whenever the prosecutor comes.
Okay. Swab, talk to your client already.
Yes.
276. Is your name, date of birth? 04/7. 1972. You need to change it. This was the paperwork for that.
Oh, thank you, appreciate it.
Have a good one.
Well, good luck.
We have Ms. Jones step in.
All right,
process, I think it's Brittany Johnson.
Who was Ms. Johnson up there?
I don't talk to, but I'm talking to
Would you happen to have a spare copy of the complaint?
What you need?
A copy of the complaint. Pros information.
Information?
It didn't come with my discovery. And, just so I know. I got the discovery.
So I just have one information for some.
Okay. Used to be 20, they're saving paper these days.
Johnson, are you ready?
Yes, Judge, I am.
Calling case 2358692, State of Michigan versus, pronounce your first name, sir.
My name is Demeen Chambers.
Demeen Chambers,
Yes, Mr.
defendant charged in count 1, criminal sexual conduct, first degree relationship. Count 2, criminal sexual conduct, first degree relationship. Count 3, criminal sexual conduct, second degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. Count 4, criminal sexual conduct, second degree, person under 13, defendant 17 years of age or older. Appearances for the record, please.
Good afternoon, Your Honor. Brittany Johnson on behalf of the people, P83513.
And good afternoon, James Schwab, 30720, on behalf of Mr. Chambers.
Tell us your name for the record, sir.
My name is Demeen Chambers.
Date, time set for preliminary examination. Are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Judge.
How many witnesses will be?
Just one judge.
Okay, call your witness.
Your Honor, at this time, the people will call Mr. Maya Chambers.
Good afternoon. Please step forward, give your name and the spelling of your name to the young lady seated here. Tell her your name and spell it for her. Please raise your right hand. Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Thank you. Please have a seat in the witness box right next to me. Keep your voice up nice and loud and speaking to that microphone that will be to your left, okay? You have a very soft voice, so I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna put that into the left so you can speak directly into the voice, okay? May begin when you're ready.
Thank you, Judge. Good afternoon, Maya. Could you please introduce yourself for the record?
Hi, I'm the Chambers. I'm 14 years old, and I'm in the
Thank you. Ms. Maya, you said you're 14. When's your birthday?
March 26, 2009.
Thank you. And do you know someone named Minge Chambers?
Yes,
How do you know him?
he's my dad.
And do you see him in the courtroom?
Yes.
Could you point to him and tell me what color he's wearing?
Right there.
Thank you. Your Honor, the record reflects the witness's identification of the defendant.
So noted.
And, Ms. Maya, do you know how old he is?
51.
And have you ever lived with them?
Yes.
Do you remember when you moved out?
March 10th of this year.
That'd be 2023?
Yes.
Thank you. Do you remember the address of the house that you lived in?
8290 Midland Street.
You said Minot Street?
Yes.
Thank you. And what city is that
In Detroit.
in? And do you ever live with them any other places?
Yes.
Where are those places?
One is in Ferguson, and it's in the city of Detroit, and another is Redmond.
Okay. Was that Redmond also in Detroit?
Yes.
Okay. So, taking you back, how old were you the first time that you remember something happening to that?
6.
And how do you know you were 6?
It was 2015.
Do you remember what grade you were in?
The second.
And what, did this happen in your house?
Yes.
In what room in your house?
It was upstairs.
Okay, what was going on upstairs?
Wait, sorry. You said what was going upstairs. Can you let that into fact?
Thank you. I'll ask a better question.
Speak more into the microphone, so I can really hear.
So the day that you're talking about something happened, who all was home with you?
Oh, my 2 older brothers and my 2 younger brothers who were babies at the time.
And did you come into contact with your dad?
Yes.
Okay, and when you're with your dad, where are your brothers at?
They're downstairs. 2 of them are downstairs sleeping, and the other 2 are outside playing.
And so are you alone with your dad in the room?
Yes.
What room are you in?
Upstairs. It was an upstairs.
And what's going on in there?
We were doing, I think we were doing the laundry at the time.
Please keep your voice up.
And are you wearing clothes?
Yes.
At some point, does that change?
Yes.
How does it change?
When it started happening, I didn't have any pants or underwear on.
Okay. Who, did someone take your pants and underwear off?
Yes.
Who did that?
My dad.
Did he remove any of his own clothing?
No, he only just, put his pants on just a little bit.
Okay, so he pulls his pants down a little bit. Where's his body at in the room?
Laying down.
Okay, where's your body at?
On top of him.
Did he put you on top of him?
No.
Okay, did he tell you to get there?
Yes.
Okay. And what, are your bodies moving?
Yes.
How are they moving?
He grabbed my hips and just kicked me back up.
When you're moving back and forth, are any parts of your body touching each other?
Yes.
What parts are touching?
Our regional energy.
Okay, so what would you use that, on your body, what do you use that body part to do?
To use the bathroom.
Okay, what comes out? Okay, and for his body, what does he use that body part?
To use the bathroom.
Okay, and what comes out?
As well.
Okay, and you said both of those body parts are touching?
Yes.
Okay, and they're rubbing back and forth together?
Yeah.
Okay, and how long did that last?
I'd say like 20 minutes.
Do you remember anything about how it ended?
No.
Okay. Did it only happen that one time?
No.
Do you remember anything specific about any other time that happened?
One time my mom, she was coming home, he got, scared, so he told me to get on and just put my clothes back on.
How do you know he was getting scared? Did you hear your mom coming?
Yes.
Okay. And so you said what did he do?
He told me to, just put my clothes back on and have everything.
So when you're 6 years old, are you living in that house on Ferguson Street?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell anybody that this was happening when you were living on Ferguson?
No.
Do you remember another time when you were going to go out of town when something happened?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that?
I was on an event and I was living at 8230 Mill Street, and I was in the kitchen watching TV sleeping at 9, and he was coming back from the bathroom, and he was checking in on me, and then we just started talking, and he pulled up my top of my shirt down, and he was touching my chest.
You say touching your chest, is he touching your breasts?
Yes,
Is he touching one or both?
one,
And is he using, what part of his body is he using to do that?
his hand,
Is it one hand, more than one hand?
just one.
Was he saying anything when this was happening?
No,
You said that was at the house on Minot?
yes,
Mr. Maya, was there a time when he told you he was teaching you to masturbate?
yes,
How old were you then?
I was 13.
And, at this point, is your mom in your life?
No,
What happened to your mom?
she passed away the year before. No, I'm sorry, the same year when I turned 15.
So how was he teaching you to do those things?
He was telling me to just spread my legs and put my fingers inside my reaching areas.
And, is he telling you this verbally in person to your face?
Yes,
Okay. Is he in the room? Does he make you do these things in front of
yes,
you? And at any point, does he use his body to touch your body to do this?
yes.
How does he do that?
He was trying to teach me how to do it better because he told me that it shouldn't take long. So he put his fingers in my regional area.
You see in your regional area, is that the part that you told us is where he comes out?
Yes,
Okay. And at any point, does any part of his hand go inside of your body?
yes,
How do you know it's inside your body?
because I felt him push into his fingers pushing into me.
And did that only happen that one time?
No,
How many times would you say that happened?
3.
And is this also at your house on Minot?
Yes,
At some point, does he tell you that you have to videotape these things?
yes.
How did that come about?
Well, he told me since my mom and stuff, and at the time I wasn't going to school. And so he told me CPS was going to take me and my brothers away and separate us. So he told me if I can like take videos and stuff, I was going to take it away. And also he said my principal wanted to see, me do that stuff.
Did you tell anybody that this was going on then?
No,
How come?
because, I was scared and he was scared to, go to jail and stuff. He didn't want to hear anything from my family's house.
Is that what he told you?
Yes,
That he didn't want to hear anything out of your family's mouth? That
Yes.
He didn't want to go to jail?
yeah,
Did he ever threaten you not to tell anybody?
no,
And you said you moved out March 10th of this year. Did you have any contact with your dad after that?
yes.
And what kind of contact did you have?
I just, call, like checking up on me and see how I was doing.
Did you have a Kids Talk interview after that date?
Yes,
Did he contact you on or around that date?
yes,
Did he indicate to you that there was a certain story that you were supposed to stick to?
yes.
There's only,
What did your dad tell you about that Kids Talk interview?
He told me, to just say that my friends, my friends were doing truth or dare. And he told me to just say that I dare to do that type of stuff.
And then, did you go to Kids Talk a second time?
Yes,
On that second time, did you tell them the truth?
yes.
Which I think that's all the questions I have.
cross examine.
Afternoon. Ms. Chambers. You lived in a house with your family, was that on Ferguson Street?
Yes,
And is it your testimony that you go for today? That's when things first happened to you?
yes,
I think you also said that, two brothers or four brothers?
yes,
And your mom was alive at that time, is that correct?
Yes,
And was your mom in the house when this first incident happened on the birth sister?
no,
All right. And did she come back eventually?
yes, she did.
And when she came back, did you have an opportunity to be alone with her?
No,
And in the days following, did you ever have an opportunity to be alone with her?
no,
How old were you at the time?
I was 6.
And did you want to tell the mom what happened?
Yes.
You never did?
Mm-mm, no.
Did it? Okay. And did you ever tell any other relations about this?
No,
Your grandmother or your aunt at that time?
no,
Or people at school?
no, never told anyone.
Okay. So there was a second event when something happened as well, is that correct?
Yes,
And in those first two events, were they both him rubbing on you?
yes,
And was there, on the second event, was there anyone present in the house at that time?
no,
No one, not your mom, not your-
no.
How old were you then?
The second time,
Yes.
I was 13.
13.
Yeah.
And did your mom die when you were 13?
She died when I was 12.
You were 12.
Yes.
So, were there any problems in the household when your mom died?
No, well, yeah, actually, yes. We would sometimes argue a little bit.
When you say argue, you argue with your dad.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, sir.
So he was raising you with brothers at the time, is that correct?
Yes,
All right. And did you resent or dislike those arguments?
yes,
And were the arguments frequent?
no, no,
Would he punish you in any way
no,
as a result of those arguments?
no,
Did you want to stay at the house at that time?
no.
Where did you want to go?
I wanted to go to my grandmother's house.
You wanted to, I'm sorry, did you say you wanted, you wanted to go?
Wanted.
And did you make any formal requests to your dad or anybody else about that?
No,
Did your grandmother suggest to you you'd like to live?
yes, she did.
So. And then you're saying around this time too that there were a few other incidents, is that correct?
Yes,
And they both had to do with having masturbation or. Is that
yes,
correct? And. You report all these incidents shortly after, well, I should say, about you were 15.
no.
When did you report?
I reported after he went to jail.
Okay, but what age?
Oh, I'm sorry, I was 14.
That's okay. You were 14.
Yes,
And, again, it had nothing to do, you're saying it's had nothing to do with these incidents?
yes.
So who did you approach?
The first approach, like, I'm sorry, you're asking like who I approached to tell?
Yes.
I was going to Walmart with my aunt and,
What's your aunt's name?
I'm sorry, her name is Giovanna.
If she, her last name too, please.
Oh, sorry, Giovanna Johnson.
Okay.
And so we were going to Walmart to get some groceries. And I just told her, like, this is what's going on and why I didn't tell her.
Did you eventually tell the grandmother?
Yes,
All right. Thank you.
just for introduction.
Mr. Schwab asked you about some arguments with your dad.
Yeah.
Are you mad at your dad now?
Yeah.
And why are you mad?
I'm mad because, like, I feel like I'm mad because, like, I was supposed to feel protected and I wasn't.
Do you make these things up because you're mad at your dad?
No.
Are you telling us these things today, Jemiah, because they really happened and they're true?
Yeah.
Thank you, Judge Sawyer.
Thank you. You may spend it. Hang on a second. Stop. Okay, go ahead. Any other witnesses for the people?
No, Judge.
Any witnesses for the defendant? No, Judge. People?
Your Honor, at this time, the people have moved to bind over. We have 2 counts of criminal sexual conduct in the first degree relationship. She testified that this defendant is her father, and then he put his fingers in her vagina twice. We also have 2 counts of CST in the second degree, person under 13. She testified at a time when she was 11 and he was groping her breasts in the kitchen, as well as the time when she was 6 and he is rubbing their genitals together. Hers are exposed, his are not. People believe that we have met our burden as to a probable cause on all 4.
So, that's not that. I agree, this is a question of fact, this court heard from this beautiful, intelligent, articulate young lady who has been allegedly victimized by her own blood father. I can't think of anything more descriptive. The long-term effects this is going to have on her life. The court, after hearing the testimony of the young Ms. Chambers, is satisfied that people have met their verdict of probable cause as it relates to the charges contained in complaint 1. The court finds those charges were committed in the city of Detroit, and the court finds probable cause to believe this defendant committed. Then it will be bound over to Wayne County Third Circuit Court Criminal Division for further proceedings. His arraignment on the information date and time will be October 6, 2023 at 9:00 a.m. Bond will be continued.
So court trial services report.
No.
With any state.
Judge, may I approach? I have an order for counseling and testing for disease.
Yes. Next one.
Yeah, she's got it already. She's already got it.
We're away again today, folks. That concludes the docket for today. Hope to see you Monday, same bat station, same bat time. I will try to muster a smile, but it's hard today. Thank you. You as well.